So let's talk Crytek. Not so much Crysis, but more Crytek, because I'm a big fan of the Crytek company. I kind of like pretty much almost everything they make. I like their engine, I like their games, and that's why I purchased Crysis 3. Not because I wanted some new multiplayer to play because I'm sick of Battlefield or I don't like Call of Duty, blah blah blah, whatever. I got Crysis 3 because I'm a Crytek fan, and I like what they make. I remember a friend telling me a long time ago that Far Cry was like one of the best fucking games he ever played, and I didn't know Crytek even made it, and I didn't even bother to play it. I didn't get into Far Cry until Far Cry 2, and then after that someone else was making it. But, you know, Crysis came out, and I heard about it, and I got it. That game was amazing. I love that shit, and I played that game to death, and then, you know, because they had stuff in the games that other people weren't doing, like stuff that I liked. Like, they had native controller support, and I just prefer to play most games with a controller. Even on the PC, I prefer to play with the controller. Keyboard and mouse is just annoying. And Crytek had that in their game, native. Like, you didn't have to go through any bullshit. It just came out of the box that way. So when I got Crysis, I loved it. They had Crysis Wars, which was a real good multiplayer. It was akin to Halo because it had a real big mod community. Like, Crysis Wars has some of the best mods I've seen. It has, first of all, the game's beautiful. And, you know, you can go online and you can just look up Crysis Wars mods and see some crazy shit. Like, kind of like the stuff you see on Halo. Halo has some of the best modding I've ever seen. And it's all shared through a community. And, hell, you can do it on Xbox, which is crazy. I mean, Crysis isn't that far to where it has that crazy-ass Bungie community. But Crysis, you know, when Crysis came out, you know, it seemed like Crytek, they understood why that was, you know, why that belonged in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of game developers, they don't get that. They don't get why people talk shit about their game every year, and then people pretend as if Bungie can do no wrong even though they made that piece of shit Halo Reach. It's because they get, you know, the gaming community and the modding and the shit. I mean, just imagine what some of these games would be if they'd allow you to mod multiplayer maps and play them with your friends, and mod zombie maps and play them with your friends. But it seemed like when Crysis came out, they understood that. And Crysis Wars had a great mod community. If you go on YouTube and type in Casus Belli, you'll see what I'm talking about. Because that mod is amazing. So that's why I like Crysis a lot, and that's really why I started fucking with Crytek. And I didn't like Crysis 2. I played it. I got it for PC because I didn't give a damn about the multiplayer. That was the reason I didn't like it. I played the multiplayer beta for Crysis 2, and it was just some boring ass bullshit. So I was like, this is wasting my time. And then I played the single player on PC, and then I still didn't like it. So I just said, screw Crysis 2. I don't like it. But you know, I've seen some stuff on Crysis 3, and I figured, you know, I'm going to play Crysis 3. Because I love Crytek. They make some of the games that I like. You know what I'm saying? They make games I like in the past, and hopefully they're going to make some stuff I like in the future. They have, apparently they bought Homefront. So I'm waiting to see what they can do with Homefront, because Homefront was a pretty good game. It was just a bit underrated. And I can't wait to see what Crytek will do with that game. If, you know, Crytek is in fact the people making them. If the guys who made Crysis are making the next Homefront, I'm going to buy that game. Because these guys seem to know what the hell they're doing. And I can see Homefront 2 being a great game made by these people. So, you know, that's why I've been fucking with Crytek. And I like the engine. They have probably one of the best gaming engines I've ever seen. First of all, they had that dynamic lighting thing down pat before anybody else was doing it. It had multi-platform, like, cloning of the game, like, happening, you know, as you create the game. Like, they showed, like a dev diary on it once upon a time. Like, it was one of the old CryEngines, like CryEngine 2 or something. This game, like, as you build your game for whatever system, whether you build it for PC, PS3, and Xbox, it makes it for the two other systems automatically. So you have an auto port of the game you built. So say you build your next video game for PC, it's automatically, you know, ported to Xbox and PlayStation 3 for you in the engine, and you can look at the different sides of it with a flick of your wrist. So that was crazy. And I was like, wow, these motherfuckers at Crytek are really on the ball. So that's really why I fuck with Crytek. And they have a game called Warface that I'm trying to get into the beta of. I can't wait to play this game when it comes out, because like, I wanted to play this game so bad. This game looks so good that I went and got into the Russian beta. That's how good it was. Like, I got language packs. I installed the Russian beta onto my computer and played that shit. And it was good. It was so good that I played with a keyboard and mouse. And I normally hate playing multiplayer games with a keyboard and mouse because, you know, multiplayer games with a keyboard and mouse it just don't feel right. Like, the fluidity of the controller is just amazing. But Warface was so much fun that I played it with a keyboard and mouse. But I'm pretty sure they're gonna have native controller, you know, you'll be able to use the controller natively, like, no problem, because that's usually what they do with their games, so you won't have to really worry about much. But, like, that game was so good, like, Warface, you know, just playing it is so good that I played it with the keyboard and mouse, and, I mean, we all know, you know, the controller's just so fluid, like, I really don't see a reason to ever play any game with a keyboard and mouse, and, I mean, to be honest, if the keyboard and mouse was that fucking good, then people on PS3 wouldn't be using their controllers, they'd be using the keyboard and mouse, because you can do that. But they're not. There's a reason they're not. It's not that fucking great. The only real thing only downfall to playing it on like PC is people who play on PC are usually running some shit in the background. They're running some mouse mod to make your mouse do this, adding macros. In my opinion, that's cheating. But in the like, you know, a lot of keyboard mouse PC gaming community, that's okay. But I like playing on console because like it's a level playing field. Everybody has a controller and nobody's running mods and hacks in the background. And that's kind of why I got Crysis 3 on the PlayStation. So I'm going to give the multiplayer another chance. Normally I would get this on PC because I just want to play single player. But I got it on console so I can, you know, play the multiplayer because I'd rather play multiplayer on a console. It's just usually a better experience for me. But yeah, man, I'm a big Crytek fan. Like, I can't wait for Warface. I'm pretty much fucking with almost anything they make. I hope they make a good home front. And, you know, these guys, they seem to really get it. I like what they make. I like the engine. I like what they do with games. And I think they're giving an engine out now, so if you want to make stuff with their game, you can just go get their engine and make stuff with it, kind of like what people do with Unreal, and then they'll help you get your game out there. And, yeah, that's why I bought Crysis 3. Right now, so far, it's real good. It's way better than Crysis 2. I didn't like the single player in Crysis 2 at all. The multiplayer was kind of bullshit. I haven't even played the multiplayer in Crysis 3. I've seen it. It looks pretty good. But I've just been playing the single player. I'm going to finish this up. Then I'm going to fuck with the multiplayer. But yeah, for now, I just want to talk about Crytek because I fuck with Crytek. Crytek seems to be a real good company from what I've dealt with. And Crysis was one of the best games I've ever played. It has that whole sandbox kind of RPG feel to it, to where you can use any gun, drive any vehicle, go anywhere. And I remember, like, you know, learning to master the suit and manipulating it with the controller, like switching powers, turning from strong to armor to, you know, jumping high and throwing people, turn invisible, all that type of crazy shit. And, you know, I'm glad it has RPG elements in it in Crysis 3 where you can mod your suit around, you get, you know, little stuff you could add to it. And a lot of game developers don't get that. That stuff belongs to games, even if you just have a shooter. That stuff belongs in your game. You should be able to kit out your soldier. Bad Company 2 understood that. Bad Company 3 really didn't. And Call of Duty never gets it. But hey, I'm a Crytek fan. So as always, if you like this commentary, give it a thumbs up. If you don't, give it a thumbs down. I'll catch you motherfuckers later.
If your visions are real, does that mean it's end of the world time?